Welcome to the Munro Review, where it's all about connecting, sharing, and valuing the arts in the central San Joaquin Valley. I'm Donald Munro. Today is October 25th, and we're going to be talking about the busy art scene in November. On today's show, we'll be sharing a piece with Fresno Philharmonic conductor and music director Rei Hotoda, who previews the orchestra's big Veterans Day concert. We're very excited about that. We'll also learn about an upcoming performance of the play The Last Days of Judas Iscariot. And later, we'll highlight the new Good Company Players production of Footloose, including a musical performance. But first, let's recap some of what I've been covering on MunroReview.com. The Warner's Theater in downtown Fresno celebrated its 90th anniversary October 20th, and what a party it was. The afternoon included a Laurel and Hardy short film, which was funnier than most of today's TV sitcoms, and also the premiere of a new documentary titled Warner's A Legacy. Congressman Jim Costa was on hand with a proclamation. Longtime organist Richard Siesenbaugh was honored, and even Marilyn Monroe showed up. She was wearing that famous white dress that was paired with that upward draft from a subway grate. Everyone knows that photo. And she was played by a member of the Caglia family. Speaking of which, the theater's birthday was also a tribute to Frank Caglia, who in the 1970s bought and restored it to its former glory. Just think, it might have been a parking lot. If you've never seen the theater's beautiful dome ceiling or enjoyed its blend of Spanish colonial revival and neoclassical architectural styles, you're missing out. There was so much theater in October. What a month. One of the most difficult reviews for me to write was the one for Woodward Shakespeare Festival's Measure for Measure. It's considered one of Shakespeare's problem plays, and its depiction of explicit sexual harassment was tough to absorb. I thought the production was scrappy, heartfelt, thoughtful, and sad. The national tour of the Book of Mormon was back with a very fine professional production of this profane, sacrilegious, and very funny musical comedy. I was happy to report that the sound for this production was much better than when the tour stopped in Fresno a few years ago. Now you could actually understand all those shocking lyrics. I was impressed with the Fresno State production of The Wolves. Director Kathleen McKinley and a fine ensemble cast created a tight little world that turned a teenage girls' soccer team into an intense character study. I had more reservations about two other local productions, Fresno City College's She Kills Monsters, which was a nicely designed show, but suffered from a weak script and direction, and Selma Arts Center Sweeney Todd, which included a terrific leading performance by Chris Karsten, but had some notable flaws along the way. Now, we're going to be learning more in just a minute about the Fresno Philharmonic's next concert, but first, the orchestra opened its Masterworks series in October with a fine concert titled Grand Promenade. Along with a powerhouse performance of Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto No. 1 and a stirring Pictures of an Exhibition, we also got to see yet another lighthearted side of conductor Rei Hotoda and her musicians in Corigliano's Promenade Suite. It isn't every day that you see an orchestra walk off the stage at the beginning of the concert, only to slowly trickle back on. So our first guest is Dakota Simpson, who is here to talk about a new production of a play that is a courtroom drama about none other than Judas. Welcome, Dakota.
Thank you, Donald.
So your play, this play is called The Last Days of Judas Iscariot.
Yes.
And I understand it's like this is the Judas.
Yes, this is he.
And he's on trial.
He is on trial, yes. He's at appeal in a lovely courtroom on the east side of Purgatory.
Okay.
And we take a lot of characters from Judas's life and some historical figures and try and solve this case and if Judas deserves to be in hell.
Okay, okay. So you play the prosecutor.
I do.
And this is a fictitious character, but
yes.
A lot of the characters are actually historical figures.
Yes, they are historical figures, yes. No, my character's name is Yusef El Fayumi. He is a prosecutor who is currently living in hell, who is asked to come and prosecute this case. Yeah, it's... Pardon me.
So is it easier for lawyers to go to hell than other professions? Or
I don't know. I feel like some people, I'm not going to say what people deserve, but okay. I feel like he's there for a reason.
Okay. So this is a play about a religious theme or topic, but yes. It isn't really a religious play.
No.
Is that how you would describe it?
I would describe, yeah, it's a big play about just forgiveness and really settling into what God's mercy is, or what mercy is, and yeah, it's all about forgiveness, I would like to say.
So it's one of those plays that could really get you thinking.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Some good discussion
Truly,
afterwards.
yes.
Now, tell us about the playwright. He's very well known.
Stephen Adley Gurgis, yeah, is incredible. He takes all of these characters from the past, like St. Thomas and Pontius Pilate and all these people, and he combines them together through modern urban dialect. So a lot of these people talk in like slang and use all of these colloquialisms, and it makes them relatable to like an audience now. Who, I mean, well, for hundreds of years we've never heard what these people sounded like, so it gives new life to them, yeah.
So you are appearing in the play.
I am,
which
yes.
is directed by
Summer
Session.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also a production of Simpson Theatrical.
Yes.
So tell us about that. You are obviously the Simpson in
this
Simpson
is he, yes. My company, which recently started with an adaptation of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, which was a lot of fun. We got to do that twice. The second time at the 41st annual Rogue Festival, or 14th, I can't remember. I get those numbers
It was
switched
actually
up.
one of those special weekends that they do, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
as a preview to the actual season.
Right.
Yeah, I was asked pretty late in the game.
I hope it's not 41st, because I remember when the Rogue started.
You know, and I could totally believe that. It probably isn't. Yeah, and so Summer I had met doing a production of Othello at Woodbridge Shakespeare Festival before she directed Much Ado About Nothing, and we were talking about a season and wanting to continue on after that, and she had mentioned to me how she loved this play, and I gave it a read, and I thought, this is excellent. I would love to see this in the Central Valley, because it hasn't been done for 6 years or so, something like that. So yeah, I was really excited that we could be doing like a poignant piece of theater right now.
And so what is your vision for this company?
My vision really is, in the past year or so, I've worked from companies from CMT to Stageworks, and I see a lot of awesome talent that doesn't get used, that are really underutilized, and a lot of young actors. And experience is so crucial, and I feel like these contemporary plays are just the right place for them. And so doing contemporary works with ragamuffin casts is something that really helps to gain experience, and it's fun. It's fun, yeah.
Well, and it's always great when there's more theater.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So tell us, when is your production?
The production runs Thanksgiving weekend, so November 23rd through the 25th, and it is at CalArts Severance, which is 1401 Wishawn, I believe.
So it's an opportunity for you to take the family after you've eaten
Absolutely,
turkey
yeah,
dinner
to go
and-
think a little
right,
bit, yeah.
right. Well, great. Thank you for coming in and
Absolutely.
sharing that with us. So before the interview, I told you a little bit about the Fresno Philharmonic's opening Masterworks concert of the season. Now we get to learn more about the next one. It promises to be big, dramatic, and heartfelt. I caught up with the conductor, Rei Hotoda, in downtown's Fresno Veterans Memorial Auditorium for an in-depth look at how the Fresno Philharmonic will be marking Veterans Day. So we are here today at the Fresno Veterans Memorial Auditorium with a very special guest, Rei Hotoda, the conductor and music director of the Fresno Philharmonic. Thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
Here. Now, you have a very special concert coming up, November 11th,
That's right.
which is Veterans Day. Tell us what else is special about that day.
Well, we are celebrating the centenary of the end of World War I, and we are so thrilled and so excited about the piece that we are going to perform for you for Fresno. It's the first time ever that we are doing Benjamin Britten's War Requiem. It is going to be a spectacle. There will probably be about 300 people on stage. And what's interesting about this piece is that it is a mass, a requiem, a mass for the dead. but it's also a song cycle. And the brilliant part of how Britten puts this whole piece together, it's as if it's on 3 different planes. And so you have the chorus and the soprano solo on one plane. You have the orchestra on another plane. And then you have a children's choir that will be placed elsewhere in the auditorium to represent another plane.
So is it an optimistic piece? Is it looking forward?
I would
in terms
say
of
yes.
a world without war?
Exactly, and the hope is that we learn from this experience, that the traumatic aspect of war and the human loss that's inherent in war should not be overlooked. And so this is a way for us to say, yes, we remember the fallen, and we honor those, and we thank those who have served for our country and for democracy, for peace. And let us keep honoring that instead of saying, oh, this is so glorious, this is this optimistic, beautiful, fantastic piece, but rather a more introspective look and saying, let's not repeat this.
So remembering our veterans, honoring our veterans is very important to you.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, my husband's a Marine, and I have to say he comes from a family of people who have served in the armed forces, and I'm just really proud of that. And I know what it takes to lay down your life for your country. And I just want to say thank you to all the men and women who have served. And this is one way, one artistic way we can do that in this community.
So for people who aren't familiar exactly with what a requiem
Yes.
is, there are a lot of requiems out there.
That's right. We're familiar with the Mozart Requiem.
Different composers just kind of put their take on the
Latin
Latin Mass.
Yes, exactly. And what's interesting about what Britten does is it's almost as if he's saying, look, this is a Mass for the dead, but we're going to insert a song cycle within the Mass, and that's never been done before, to insert this poetry about depicting the horrific things that happen in war. And so you hear that in the music, and so the tenor and baritone are only singing in English, are only reciting Owen's poetry. And it's about, struggling. Like for instance, the first tenor line that he sings is, what passing bells for those who die as cattle. Only the monstrous anger of the guns. That's what he's saying, and so it's like bringing right to the forefront the atrocities of war. And then later on he says, not by the hands of boys, but in their eyes. So not by, killing their hands, but in their eyes, that you see the goodbyes in their eyes.
So this is your first time at the Memorial Auditorium in downtown Fresno.
Yes.
What are your first thoughts? I know you want to go back to the museum.
Yes.
And see it
Well,
again.
first of all, when I walked in, I thought, wow, what an incredible Art Deco decor. It's just an incredible place. That's a hidden gem in Fresno. And then we walked into the museum, and I thought, look at all these artifacts and all this memorabilia that they've accumulated over the years, and how my husband would love to peruse everything. But it's just fascinating, just the different things that they have in there. It's quite an incredible museum.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. It sounds like a really special concert.
Thank you so much, Donald.
So we're joined now by Stephen Wilson, who is the CEO of the Fresno Philharmonic. Stephen, thank you for being here.
It's a great pleasure.
So November 11th used to be called Armistice Day.
Right.
In the U.S.
Absolutely, yeah. Its origins were a recognition specifically of people who fought in World War I, and then was, after World War II, was changed to Veterans Day.
So the Britten piece, though, wasn't actually written until the 1960s.
Yeah, so it's it's a fascinating work historically that really encompasses virtually the whole of the 20th century. That was written and premiered in the 1960s. The piece really has this arc of war through the whole 20th century up to and including the Cold War era of the 1960s. And so I think it in a sense reflects all of that.
So you are working with a number of community partners on this concert. Tell us about that.
Fresno County's academic decathlon teams, their curriculum for this year is themed on the 1960s, and the War Requiem is actually one of their required pieces that they are studying. So we, working with the Fresno County Office of Education, we will be having a large group of students who are competing in the academic decathlon for Fresno County attending the concert on November 11th. So hopefully when they compete, they will get a War Requiem question, we hope.
You can only hope.
Also, the Fresno Historical Society is providing some materials for us for a lobby display about World War I and with some specific references to World War I in Fresno, that period in Fresno. Finally, the Fresno County Libraries are commemorating the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I with a workshop for people to make poppies. The poppies after World War I became the symbol for recognition of that anniversary. They're still quite widely worn, particularly in England, Australia, Canada, less so in the US, but it does have origins in the US commemoration of World War I. And so that there will be poppy making workshops, and so we've been helping the libraries promote those workshops. So people.
Well, and maybe we could get that tradition going again. That seems like a very sweet, very special way to remember.
I think so. It's incredibly moving. I know whenever I've seen like on the news commemorations of World War I from England, and just everyone is wearing these poppies. It's really which reaches back to a poem on Flanders Fields, and so I think it is. It's quite moving.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful concert, a wonderful way to experience this major anniversary. I mean, 100 years, that's a really big deal.
It absolutely is. It's really this seminal event which really launched the 20th century, and and I think even today we still feel the reverberations from World War I in the Middle East and Europe, everywhere, and not the least which in the United States.
Well, thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you. Pleasure.
The concert will be 3 p.m. on Sunday, November 11th, which is the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. It used to be called Armistice Day. To learn more about the performance, visit fresnophil.org. So our next guests are here from the cast of Footloose, from Good Company Players, and they're going to talk about this fun, exciting, high-energy show that's opening November 15th. So welcome.
Thank you for having us.
being here. So let's kind of go around and do introductions. We'll start.
I'm Mallory. I play Erlene.
Okay.
I'm Audrey Portela, and I play Wendy Jo.
I'm Alli Stemple, and I play Ariel Moore.
Okay.
I'm Aubree Facio, and I play Rusty.
Fantastic. So Ariel is the leading role, or one of the leading roles in the show, right? So why don't you tell us about the show for those of you who somehow missed Footloose over the last 35 years?
Well, so it starts with Ren McCormick. He moves to Beaumont, which is the town it's set in, from Chicago, which is a very big change because Beaumont is like this really conservative. Everyone in the town is really involved in the church, and dancing is actually illegal, like dancing. And so that's a big change from Chicago, which is like the bustling city. And so he comes and he like is kind of confused as why.
Well, exactly. Like who could actually ban dancing? So what he does is he kind of rallies the town.
He
right?
rallies the kids, and he ends up causing like a lot of controversy in the town. Everybody they really don't give him a chance. They just hear like what he's trying to do, like he's trying to get us to be able to dance again, and they think that's just like a crazy idea.
So of course it's a really big dance show. So Mallory, tell us about the dancing in the show. Is it really kind of putting you through your paces?
Sorta. It's really fast, and Ashley Wilkinson choreographed it, and her choreography is so much fun, and I always enjoy getting to do it, and it's very contemporary, but it also has some technique in it, and I feel like she incorporates some basic ballet in it, and it's very fun and contemporary. We all have such a great time. We're all asking each other, okay, what comes after this part, and going over stuff in the back when we aren't on. And
so the three of you play friends
Yes.
of the lead character. So you're kind of her backup, her buddies.
yeah.
So that seems like it'd be kind of fun in itself, just to kind
Yeah,
of
and I
have
feel
that
like we've all kind
spirit.
of bonded together, and
Yeah.
we're, especially with this, all of our scenes that we talk to each other in, and it's fun, and I love these girls. They're my friends.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to get to play on stage with them together.
So Audrey, you were telling me a story. It's not about you being banned from dancing, but actually your mother. So tell us that.
Yes, my mother grew up in a pretty small Christian town, and then she went to a pretty small Christian college. And when she got there, she found out that they actually had a rule against dancing. You can't hold dances, you can't dance on campus. It's just too rowdy for them, I guess. And she and some friends, they saw Footloose and they said, hey, let's try this. So they did the whole thing. They made flyers, they talked to people, they tried to get people involved, but no one was interested. So it didn't work out, but.
And so this was way back in the 1980s.
Yes.
So long before any of you were born.
Yeah.
But it's kind of amazing to think that there were still communities back then
Yeah.
that would not let people dance. So the four of you are going to be performing a musical number after our break. Who wants to tell me about what that song is and what does it mean?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're singing Holding Out for a Hero. That song is just kind of pretty self-explanatory. We're all holding out. We're in a small town. There's not many guys around. We just really want a hero to step in somewhere. And I guess Ren, when he comes into town, it's kind of like, hey, thanks
Everyone's
for
in
coming.
love with
yeah,
him.
Well, of
everyone
course, he's the
loves
new
Ren.
guy, right? So, and
A new
he can-
face.
and he can dance, right? That's what I mean.
Something we've never
yeah.
seen that's unheard of. And
Exactly.
It's like, ooh, a bad
Exactly.
boy.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun to think that Footloose is being performed by like a new generation. So
Yeah.
I think that'll be very fun, very exciting to see. So we'll be hearing a musical number from Footloose to close out the show in just a moment. But first, it's time for The List, a selection of things to do during the month of November. Good Company Players kicks off the month with an original holiday show titled A Good Company Christmas. It opens November 1st and promises lots of music, laughter, and good cheer. The Lively Arts Foundation brings professional dance to Fresno in an event titled Best of the West. It features dancers from professional companies from San Francisco and Oakland to Los Angeles, and that's on November 4th. Fresno Pacific opens a main stage theater production of the play Falling on November 8th. And if it's November, it must be the Nutcracker. The Valley Performing Arts Council opens the Holiday Classic on November 23rd. We're going to take a short break, but when we return, a performance from Footloose. Welcome back. Now let's close out the show with a performance from Footloose.
If only I could find a guy who would make the first move.
If only I could find a guy who, when he went to kiss me goodnight, he'd take the toothpick out of his mouth.
If only I could find a guy. Where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods?
Yeah.
Where's the streetwise Hercules to fight the rising odds?
I'd like to know.
Isn't there a white knight upon a fiery steed? Late at night I toss and I turn.
I toss and I turn, ooh.
somewhere watching me. Through the wind and the chill and the rain and the storm and the flood, I can feel his approach like a fire in my blood. Like a fire in my blood, like a fire in my blood, like a fire in my blood, like a fire in my blood. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. He's gotta be sure and it's gotta be soon and he's gotta be larger than life, larger than life. I need a hero.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Well, that wraps it up for this month's episode of the Munro Review. Be sure to keep up online at munroreview.com and check out all the recent changes on the site, including a new optional membership feature. A big thank you to our volunteer crew, and a thank you to all of our guests, Dakota Simpson, Rei Hotoda, Stephen Wilson, Aubree Facio, Mallory Parker, Audrey Portela, Alli Stemple, and for all of you, please keep exploring and supporting the local art scene. We'll see you next time.